It is a curse to have everything go right on your first attempt.
If you're just constantly seeking more happiness and it's not there, then you're seeking something that's never going to be there. But if you're able to just stick in what you're doing right now, and in those hard times, believing they're going to lead to good times, it just creates a lot less friction in your life.
No risk, no Ferrari. And we know this to be true. If you want to win the game of life, if you want to take it to the top, you have to be able to sacrifice who you are today for who you want to become. And for a lot of people, they may just be comfortable with their 9 to 5, and I completely get it and I validate it. If that's what you want to live and if you're happy, so be it. But I'm willing to neglect the money in the short term and not get that paycheck just because I understand that if you plant enough seeds in due time, you will reap massive rewards.
I think whenever we're going through a hard time, we just want it to end. But it's those moments that allow us to appreciate the good ones. I think sometimes a quick word of just looking in them and being like, I know, you're not alone. Give them a hug and be like, this is shit right now, and it's okay. But you're not alone.
Most of the time on this journey, you are going to feel like shit. You are going to be overwhelmed. You are going to be stressed. You are going to be tired. You are going to wonder if it's the right thing. That's most of the time.
If you understood the power of your thoughts, you'd never think negatively ever again. I also think that once you understand all of the bad things and good things that come into your life are a perfect plan from God himself, you're going to be a lot less affected by the bad things.
Reality is it's hard. Reality is it's going to take everything you got. Reality is if you don't have a big old chip on your shoulder that you could draw from and then have it push you down the road, you're not going to make it.
Sometimes you need to get knocked down before you can really figure out what your fight is. Sometimes you need to feel the pain and sting of defeat to activate the real passion and purpose that God predestined inside of you.
Do what's personal to you. Take it as far as you could go. Really push the boundaries. People will resonate with it if they're supposed to resonate with it, but you can't get there the other way. You know, the other way is a dead-end path.
So when you look around and you start feeling bad because these people are criticizing you, because these people are attacking you, because these people are doubting you, I challenge you to flip the perspective to one where you're thankful for that. Because eventually you'll become so successful, you won't have people doubting you anymore. You won't have people criticizing you like that. You won't have people that don't believe, and you won't have that fuel. And you wish you did.
There's no difference between responsibility and adventure. Take the path of maximal responsibility. Not because you should, even though you should. That's not why. It's because that's the pathway of maximal adventure.
All these things that we're afraid of, they're doors that can possibly lead you to a whole other world. But we keep them shut for fear, for insecurities. And that's one thing about tripling down on your weaknesses, so then those weaknesses end up becoming your strengths. You got to put yourself on that pedestal, hold yourself to a higher standard, hold yourself accountable, and then look up to yourself. I'm not saying kiss your own ass, but I'm saying hold yourself to a standard and look within inside yourself and try to be the best you can be.
If something bad happens to you, it's part of God's plan. He knows what he's doing. In the end, you're going to be happy it happened. I often ask people, is there anything bad that's happened to you in the past at the time you were distraught about that you now wish didn't even happen? And truthfully, you're like, no, I'm kind of glad it all happened because of. So if you understand you're always going to get there eventually, why be upset about it now, right? If you know in a year from now you'll be glad it happened, why be upset about it happening now? You have to be cerebral enough about things.
The reality of life is this. The world's relentless, and it will not stop beating your ass until you wake up and start beating it back. And, you know, when I see self-love and all, I do understand where they're coming from. Those people are talking to people who are on the brink, right? Yep. And they think their entire world's crumbling, and they're telling them it's okay. But I actually think that's the wrong message. Mm-hmm. I think the right message is this. Hey, this is how it is if you don't go hard. This is what you're going to get if you do not try hard to develop yourself and get off the bench and get in the game. And I say that out of a place of love and caring for people.
So you say, well, what's the meaning of life? It's like, it's the meaning that reveals itself when you take the pathway of maximal responsibility. That's a killer thing to know. The heavier the responsibility, the more profound the adventure. And so everyone knows that, but it's not catalyzed, eh? And so I've been suggesting to young men in particular, it's like, you want to get your life together?
When you figure out who you are and what you want to do, and you devote your life to it like a maniac, like you're all in on this thing, and you manifest, most of these people end up, you know, doing what they say they're gonna do and being who they say they're gonna become. And there's no excuses, there's no fucking days off, there's no, you know, not willing to grind and, you know, everybody's against me and this didn't happen for me because of this and that and all this whining and you know, pussy ass bullshit that a lot of people do these days. It's these people who dive in and they're hardcore and they're focused and they know what they want, they know who they are, and they lay out these short-term goals and this roadmap on how to get there. Most of those people make it.
One way to increase the probability that things will unfold for you properly is to not lie. Just stop lying. Stop saying things you believe to be untrue. Stop doing things you know to be wrong. Just start with that.
Start with action and make small promises to yourself that you don't break. It needs to be, okay, what would have had to have happened in a week's time for me to look back on that week and find pride in myself?
The best way to contend with problems, with issues, with adversity is action, is by taking action.
You have the world on your side. But obviously, because if you're lying about things, you're opposing reality. Who are you? Who are you to oppose reality? Good luck.
Life is very convenient, and it is easy for people to not stick to the promises that they set themselves, because our ability to be idealistic is always going to outstrip reality's ability to deliver that to us.
I think if you take these approaches, if you take the approach of manifesting what you want so you're constantly motivated and understanding all the bad things that happen to you are just a lesson and one day you're going to get over it, it's pretty easy to be a happy, contented, balanced person. I don't think there's any serious magic to happiness. I think it's a choice and it's pretty easy to do.
The more you sit and the more you wait and the more time you spend with that adversity, with the upper hand inside your head, the worse it's going to get.
As soon as you posit an ideal, you then begin to compare yourself to that ideal. And true hell is when the person that you are meets the person that you could have been.
Go do something. Do the best thing that you can think of. Put the best plan you have into practice. It's not going to be perfect and it will change along the way. But it will change partly because you become disciplined pursuing the path. And as you become disciplined, you become wiser. And as you become wiser, you become able to formulate better and better plans.
Taking action, making something happen. It doesn't have to be huge, but if you say, hey, listen, this is what happened, didn't go the way we wanted it to, we're gonna get our gear back on, we're gonna go back out. And it's in your personal life too. You know, something doesn't go the way you wanted it to go, you didn't get the job you wanted, you didn't get the hire, you didn't get the promotion, you can go home and sit there and dwell on it. That's not getting you any progress. Or you say, okay, you know what? We do a quick analysis. Why didn't I get that promotion? What do I need? Let me look into how do I get to jump through that gate so next time I will get the promotion, and you start taking action.
I think the unhappiest people in the world don't have any struggle at all. You often find that people who are struggling but know exactly what they're supposed to do, if they're getting up every day and they're grinding and they're working hard and they don't have what they want yet, but they believe they're going to get it and they're trying their very best and they're dedicating themselves, they're very happy. Perhaps the people who are born with a trust fund and unlimited money and have no struggles in their life and they have no objectives to try and conquer are truly the miserable ones. Perhaps we're built for struggle. Perhaps the human mind and soul and spirit is built to struggle. Perhaps we're built to suffer. I know me as a man, I'm happiest when I suffer.
Maybe stop breaking promises to yourself. When you say, I'm going to wake up tomorrow at 7 a.m., and when the option comes to hit the snooze button, don't do it. There's one win that you've got for the day. That's action.
So you can start vaguely and confused and develop a plan that's not so great, and you start to implement it, and then you accrue incremental wisdom as you implement your flawed plan, and that enables you to fix the plan.
It's not glamorous, it's lonely. As you start changing, everything around you starts changing, people around you start, like it's not even fun in the beginning.
You're not crazy, you're not broken, you're not, something that needs to be fixed just because you're not like everybody else.
And so you'd either have to have an incredible amount of hope or a ridiculous amount of inspiration and delusion, or you have to be in so much pain that the alternative to continuing this pain that you're in is to try something different because it's the only thing that might be slightly less painful than what you're doing.
Try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you. And do not worry that your life is turning upside down or not going the way that you want it to. How do you know that the side you are used to is better than the one that's to come?
Maybe
You're not like everybody else because you have a fucking gift that they don't have. And I've found that to be the case more than not when it comes to listening to critiques or judgment or advice from other people. Okay, I'm me. The recipe is the recipe, and it is what it is. If you don't like the way it tastes, don't fucking eat it.
A blade does not become strong. It does not become tempered until it's been through the fire.
When you're not where you want to be in life, and if you're listening to this and you're just not satisfied with your position in life, it's hard to think that way. All you want is that thing. But you gotta somewhere along the line figure out how to enjoy yourself.
Having things isn't exciting. Getting things is exciting. All about the achievement. It's all about what comes next. It's all about moving towards something that you genuinely care about. It can be whatever it is that you want to do, like the next conversation, the next lesson that you learn, the next insight that you have about life, the next piece of curiosity that you satisfy, the next piece of content you create, the next message you get from somebody that says, dude, I really appreciate the lesson that you gave. It changed my life. It did the whatever. Being in the moment and realizing that when you look back, this will be the time that you cherish the most.
Somewhere along the line, figure out how to just go as hard as you can, but also enjoy it. Try to enjoy it, because that changes the whole tone of the experience, and I think that makes you more successful.
This is just your first or second time through the fire, and there's a lot of hammer work that has to take place. And then you're going to have to go back in the forge again, and it's hot, and it melts you down, and you're uncomfortable. And then life is going to pull you out, and it's going to put you on the anvil, and it's going to hammer on you some more.
I found that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks. Nothing. Nelson Mandela said, there is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that's less than the one you're capable of living.
When you don't have a true appreciation and acceptance for who you are, and you allow yourself to be immobilized by fear, what happens in the process is that you begin to abuse yourself. You begin to sabotage your life, you begin to sabotage your dreams, you begin to unconsciously work against yourself. You become your own worst enemy.
Because you're sad, now you're gonna make a bunch of bad decisions because you're sad. No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You're sad, okay. You get emotional sometimes, okay. Got it. Now, get control of your emotions and carry on with your life. And sometimes you're gonna get hit with those waves, and that's okay.
Everybody that's done something special in this world, you didn't go from 4,000 square feet to 40 or 44,000, whatever it is, if you thought like everybody else. You had to be crazy. How many people told you that? You're going from what to what? No, go a little smaller, just maybe double in size. I said, no, this is what we're going to do. Being crazy is a compliment. When somebody says you're crazy, that means you see things that other people can't see.
You begin to realize that your dream and your gifts have so much meaning and so much value for you till your hunger for them will begin to push you past the fear.
Everybody that's done something special in life, they've all been criticized for being crazy. It's a compliment. When somebody says, you're crazy, you're nuts, I said, yes, I am.
God says in Jeremiah, I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. When you at this day, when you have reached the hilltop and you are deciding on next job, next steps, careers, further education, you would rather find purpose than a job or a career.
God never sends me where I would be comfortable. He always sends me where I'm uncomfortable. That it's my job to make things comfortable. So no matter what life presents you, don't stop doing what you've been called to do.
Purpose crosses disciplines. Purpose is an essential element of you. It is the reason you are on the planet at this particular time in history. Your very existence is wrapped up in the things you are here to fulfill.
So sometimes when you think you're making the wrong decision, or you have to making the toughest decision because you're thinking about somebody else and the consequences, if you think the price of winning is too high, wait till you get the bill from regret.
When God has something for you, it doesn't matter who stands against it. God will move someone that's holding you back away from a door and put someone there who will open it for you.
Your hunger to have them will give you a special drive.
And that bill from regret is generational. And there's a lot of people listening to this that bill has been passed on from generation to generation, and you are holding that bill right now. And somebody in one of your generations has to pay that bill off.
Personal winters when your heart is smashed in 1,000 pieces and the nights are unusually long. It is simply called winter time. But here's what you got to do in your own personal development, your own personal growth, and that is just get better at handling the winters. You can't change the winter, you can't change the seasons, but you can change yourself. You say, well, what can I do about the upcoming winters of my life, the challenges that I know I'm going to face? Here's what you can do. You can get wiser and stronger and better.
I don't know what your future is, but if you're willing to take the harder way, the more complicated one, the one with more failures at first than successes, the one that has ultimately proven to have more meaning, more victory, more glory, then you will not regret it.